You finally got that big raise or fat contract you were hoping for. You're eating out more often and buying nicer things. But are you really becoming rich? It's hard to tell because the signs of wealth aren't always so obvious. Here are a few subtle signs that you may be getting richer than you realize. Sign number 1, you don't obsessively check your bank account. We've all been there before. It's a couple days until your next paycheck hits your bank account, and you're hoping that no unexpected expenses come your way as you try and make your last $20 count. If you felt this anxiety before, then you'll know just how crippling it can be to your mental state. Fortunately, if you're making the right financial decisions, you won't have to live like this forever. As your financial situation improves, you'll find that you're less concerned about the cost of small purchases. Instead of agonizing over whether you can afford that cup of coffee or a new shirt, you're more likely to simply buy what you want without giving it a second thought. This is a subtle sign that your overall financial picture is looking rosier. It's also an indication that you're starting to feel more confident about your ability to manage your money. Not to get overly personal, but I've struggled financially before and am not a stranger to the paycheck-to-paycheck lifestyle. I know what it's like to put that candy bar back on the shelf. I know the sinking feeling of a negative bank balance, and I know how demoralizing it can be to work an entire month at a job you hate with absolutely no financial progress to show for it. However, keep in mind that it is normal to feel a bit apprehensive about spending money when you're trying to save up or get out of debt. But once you've reached a point where you're comfortable with your financial situation, you'll likely find that you're less concerned about the cost of everyday items. You'll no longer mark payday on your calendar. You'll no longer ask to split the bill with a friend when you go out. These small instances of financial progression reduce the friction in our lives and free up a ton of mental bandwidth. Therefore, once you reach this state, enjoy your newfound financial freedom, and don't be afraid to treat yourself to the occasional latte or new pair of shoes because you've earned it. Sign number 2, you don't define wealth by a number. For a long time, I defined wealth by a number. I thought that if I could just make X amount of money, I would be happy and successful. But as I started to make more money, I realized that wealth is not just about a number. It's about your lifestyle and your ability to enjoy your life. When I was making less money, I was always stressing about bills and worried about how I was going to make ends meet. If you've ever felt this way before, let me know by hitting that like button below. Now that I'm making a little more money, I don't have to worry about those things as much. I wouldn't consider myself rich, but I can travel and buy things that make me happy. Here's an example. Let's say you've been working hard to save up for a down payment on a house. You've made sacrifices, put in extra hours at work, and cut back on your spending in order to reach your goal. But after years of saving, you finally have enough for the down payment and you're able to buy your first home. At this point, your definition of wealth has changed. It's no longer just about having a certain amount of money in the bank. Instead, it's about having the stability and security that comes with owning your own place. Another great example of this is reaching financial independence. It's probably not news to you that many people in the workforce hate their jobs. As such, they've attached a number to their freedom and work to get one step closer to it every single day. However, once they get there, what they see as wealth changes. They already have the money to live a work-free lifestyle, and now being wealthy is using that freedom to enjoy all the aspects of life that mean the most to them. When you begin to realize that wealth is not about a number, it's about your lifestyle and your happiness, you'll be on the path to true wealth. Sign number 3, you have a sense of inner peace. There's a subtle sign that you're getting rich that most people don't notice. It's a sense of peace that goes on in the background of your mind. What do I mean by this? Well, when you're poor, there's a constant background hum of anxiety. You're worried about money, about making ends meet, about not being able to afford things. This anxiety can be so constant that you don't even realize it's there. But it is, and it takes a toll on your mental and emotional health. That's why I personally think one of the worst things about not having money is the lack of peace. I know for myself personally, when I was struggling to make ends meet, every email from my boss made me worried I was going to get fired. And every noise my appliances made in my house had me praying that it wasn't about to break. This is no way to live life, however. When your finances aren't where you want them to be, feeling this way is basically inevitable. When you start to experience financial abundance, however, that background hum of anxiety begins to dissipate. You no longer have to worry about money all the time. You can relax and enjoy your life more. So when you get an email from your boss, you can focus on the task at hand as in the worst case scenario, you change jobs while relying on your ample emergency fund to help tide you over. Or if that 10-year-old appliance does finally break, you can simply go out and buy a new one, something you've been considering doing anyways now that you have a bit more money. Once you start to appreciate how having more money impacts this aspect of your life, this sense of peace can be incredibly healing for your mind and body. So, if you're feeling a low-level background of peace, it could be a sign that you're finally getting rich. Congratulations, you've earned it. Sign number 4, you're on track for retirement. Are your retirement goals on track? This question can help you feel out whether or not you're becoming rich. The truth is, financial independence is a goal that many people chase viciously. We all long for the day when we can hand in our 2-weekend notice at work and sail off into the sunset. Sadly, few people are on track with their retirement goals, meaning that most will never leave their cubicles behind. Why is this the case, you may be wondering? Most employees tend to wait until it's too late before they set up a retirement fund. They're too busy living for today to put away money for tomorrow, or they think they can work forever. This is a common mistake, and I share a lot of mistakes you need to avoid to get rich on this channel, so make sure you hit that subscribe button below if you haven't already. But, taking a step back, who or what determines whether one is financially equipped for retirement? Does it imply having $1 million in your retirement account? Maybe, but it's not the only thing. Besides a thriving retirement portfolio, early retirees tend to share specific financial traits that you can use to test readiness for retirement and gauge your wealth progression. The first one is debt freedom. If you've wiped clean your debt sheet and you owe no one, that's the first sign that you're eligible to ditch the steady paycheck. High-interest debts like credit card loans and mortgages can quickly drain your retirement savings. Hence, you're better off getting rid of them before retiring. Clearing your debt also frees up your budget so that you can pump more funds towards your retirement account. Secondly, those who retire on time always have a robust emergency fund to cover emergencies such as health. Keep in mind that your employer benefits will be non-existent in your retirement years. Since most health failures don't come knocking, it's safer to have a good plan that will help you cover medical bills. Lastly, most early retirees kickstart their retirement plans early. Getting an early start enables you to benefit from compound growth, which is basically free money. Most growth mutual funds offer an impressive amount of interest that can make a huge difference through the years. The earlier you start, the better. Sign number 5, you spend more on things you love. One of the most common unrecognized signs is that you spend more time and money on things you love. For many people, work is a necessary evil that takes up the majority of their time. They get up in the morning, turn off their alarm, get dressed for work, commute to the office, work for 8 or more hours only to come home, numb the pain of a long day with mindless TV only to turn around and do it again tomorrow. Quite the depressing lifestyle, wouldn't you say? Fortunately, as you start to earn more money, you'll find that you have more freedom to choose how you spend your time. Suddenly, work isn't the only thing on your mind, and you can afford to take some time off to enjoy your hobbies and interests. However, getting to this point requires the implementation of an income strategy that few people use. You see, there are really 2 ways to make more money: work more or earn more per hour you work. If you rely on the former, you're unlikely to ever have the free time you want, even if you have the money on hand. This is why learning to increase your value per hour is a much more advisable path to wealth and happiness. For instance, a doctor making $1,000 a shift only has to work 1 day to make enough money for a week's living. However, someone making $20 an hour has to work a 50-hour week to do the same. Now, I'm not saying that you have to become a doctor, but this example illustrates that the more valuable a skill set you can develop, the more free time you will unlock in the future. In addition, you'll be able to spend more money on experiences that you love. Whether it's taking a cooking class or going on an African safari, you'll be able to indulge your passions in a way that was previously impossible. I know for myself personally, I started to realize I was gaining more wealth when I could afford to take unpaid time off work to travel. Before reaching this level of financial success, I would have to work nonstop, and missing even 1 paycheck would be crippling to my financial situation. However, by learning how to make more money for every hour I work and investing in assets that pay me without my involvement, enjoying the finer things in life becomes much more feasible. In fact, now that I think about it, it was only once I heard the quote, "Wealth is the ability to fully experience life by Henry David Thoreau that I started to really appreciate the financial position I was in. Unfortunately, many people go through life trapped in a vicious financial down spiral, never getting to fully experience life. They can't enjoy dining at restaurants, going on vacation, or simply not having crippling anxiety over their finances. For your sake, I hope this is not the position that you're in, but if it is, just know that I've been there before, and if I can overcome it, then so can you. Therefore, if you find yourself spending more time and money on the things you love, it's a good sign that you're getting richer. And if you want to start feeling richer right now, click on this next video and let's get started.